Hello and welcome to the Long Day's Journey into Film podcast. I'm Russ, here with my co-host,
Andy here.
and we're going to talk about some modern sci-fi movies today, High Life and Interstellar. Um, it will be a spoiler discussion for both, so if you don't want to be spoiled, then go watch the movies because they're good movies. And
We're gonna spoil them.
Yeah, we're gonna spoil them, so don't get spoiled for movies, or do. It doesn't really mean much to me.
Do what you need to do.
Do what needs to be done, and
Well, both of these movies are science fiction. I don't know how much you're into science fiction, but it's probably one of my favorite genres. Space is really terrifying to me, but it's
yeah,
also really very interesting at the same time. It's almost like a love-hate relationship.
yeah, I like sci-fi. I do. It's not one of my favorite genres. I like more. I'm more into like grounded stuff, but there are some sci-fi movies I really love, like Solaris and Blade Runner, and
Space Odyssey for me.
oh yeah, that's like one of my favorite movies. Very influential. 2001 was.
Yeah. Especially to one of the movies we're going to talk about today.
Indeed.
Oh shit. That scared the fuck out of me, dude. Oh
What?
my god. I
What?
wasn't paying attention and my knee landed on my remote and it turned the volume on my TV on to our ears. What are you doing? I'm like, what the fuck is that? It scared the fuck out of me. Holy shit. But yeah, talk about terrifying. High Life.
From 2018, directed by Claire Denis. It's Claire Denis. Right? I watched a YouTube video and people were saying Claire Denis, and I was like, bruh. She's French, it's not Dennis.
Who actually worked on Paris, Texas, I believe.
She did? What the
I'm
fuck?
pretty sure she was like an assistant director on the movie.
What? I need to
Yeah,
check
she worked
this.
with Wim Wenders on Paris, Texas. She worked with Jim Jarmusch, or however you fuck say his name, on Down by Law, and she worked on Wings of Desire.
I don't see her in the. I don't see her in the cast or crew thing of fucking.
She was second. She was assistant director in those films.
But yeah, she's Claire Denis, a very what's the word I'm looking for? A very well-loved director.
I guess you could say she's very revered in her particular scene.
Yeah. I'm fairly new to her films. I watched High Life about 2 years ago, I think. And I didn't really know what to make of it. I was just kind of like, what? Okay. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it, because I kind of been wanting to revisit it for a while now. But I'm
completely new to her.
Yeah, and just recently, this week, I also watched, just to kind of get a feel for her style and stuff of her films. I also watched Beau Travail. I might be saying that wrong. It's French. And Trouble Every Day. Also both very good, very interesting films. I noticed that she makes films that really they stick with you after you've seen them. At least for me, they do.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to give a description of what this movie's about? High Life from 2018.
Well, let's see here. High Life stars Robert Pattinson, and he is one of two lone survivors. Well, I guess technically not lone, but one of two survivors on a damned and dangerous mission to the outer reaches of the solar system. And the only other person with him is his baby daughter. So it takes place and it kind of goes back and forth throughout the previous inhabitants of the ship and what happened to them. I mean, the film focuses on a group of criminals who are sent on a mission to travel on a spaceship toward a black hole while taking part in scientific experiments. And these experiments do not really go well, pretty much.
Yeah. Um. So this is an interesting film. I feel like there's a lot here, and I don't fully. So I've seen this film 3 times now. I watched it once a couple years ago, and I watched it twice this week. And I still don't quite know what to make of it, really. Like, there's more to get, sort of, out of it. Like, I haven't already. Like, every time I rewatch it, I feel like I get more out of it.
I feel that way with a lot of films, but I don't know. I just consume what I see, I guess.
Yeah. This is a very divisive film, too, because I noticed a lot of reviews of people really saying it's just boring and pretentious garbage. And a lot of people saying it's, like, really great and one of the greatest, like, or one of the best or recent films. So it's I wouldn't really say controversial, but it's divisive for sure. A lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it.
I actually kind of liked it, actually. I think it was very unique, especially with its aesthetic. It's kind of got like a 70s retro, almost Fallout kind of type aesthetic.
Hmm. Yeah, it's got good cinematography. That's one of the main things I really loved about it. A lot of interesting like colors and stuff, like with some of like the neons in some scenes. Like, but yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I mean, it's pretty fucked up movie,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's not one for the whole family. That's for sure.
which I was not really expecting, kind of, even though I didn't really have any expectations. I just didn't expect it to show what it showed, and there's a whole thing with the box, a device obsessively used by the crew to masturbate.
Yeah, the fuck box as it was referred to.
It takes a bit of a central, it's a central plot device, I guess you could say.
Yeah, there's that whole scene with uh, Julia Binoche. I might be saying that wrong.
Yeah, Dr.
But
Dibs.
yeah, her character, that like elongated like masturbation scene in the fuck box, which is like really like unnerving in a way for some reason. Just like the way it's shot with the music and just like I don't know. It was kind of a creepy scene, even though there's like nothing particularly creepy happening there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it felt a bit uncomfortable, especially considering the device is just like a metal object
Yeah,
that's part of the ship. It's not like a personal item.
yeah.
I guess everyone uses it, female wise. I don't know. It's not really delved into. She's very obsessed with sexuality
The entire film is a lot of sexual themes in it.
because she's
Um,
trying to artificially inseminate the crew, pretty much the female part of the crew.
yeah, and like at one point, Monty, Robert Pattinson's character, is
And
like the
these are
main.
all criminals for what it's worth.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not.
We,
They're
we
already
just
starting off on a weird foot.
we just jumped directly into it. We didn't even really. I don't know if we really described too much, just directly to the fuck box. But yeah, they're all like I'm not sure if they're all death row inmates, but they kind of said something like that. Like a lot of them have either like life sentences or they were like on death row. Like the main character Monty, Robert Pattinson's character, he like killed a girl because she killed his dog. I think that was the implication there. You see
Yeah.
like flashbacks, and yeah, and like Dibs, Juliette Binoche's character, she's like at one point they say she like killed her children and her husband. Um, but the rest of them, it's not really clear why they're there. They just kind of said like they're scum and stuff. So I'm not really sure if they were like all had life sentences, you know, or on death row.
They were just criminals sent out to do science in the name of science, which is really fucked up.
Yeah, and anyway, there's this. So they're going to get resources from a black hole. That's like their main mission. Which I guess is really dangerous because you know it's a black hole. You can get sucked in or whatever. But
I feel like it was more of a guise though. Like,
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I'm kind of confused. And then there's this whole thing with Dibs. She's trying to artificially inseminate the female part of the crew and stuff. But like, what's her goal? And they said like at one point that's like the kind of like the secondary objective of them doing that. But like, what? Just to have a baby in outer space or in space? Like, was that the?
I'm not sure if that's actually the goal they set out to accomplish, or it's just her personal goal.
And this is the weirdest thing. So this is one thing I don't really like about the movie, unless I'm just missing something. There's this weird scene where it cuts to a train on Earth, two people sitting in a train, and
Oh
there's I think he's
yeah,
like an Indian professor. It's like an Indian professor,
yeah, from
and being
Delhi.
like interviewed, and he says like, "Oh, they're taking criminals." It's this really weird way to have an exposition scene. It's because it's completely out of nowhere, and they never bring it back in. He says like, "Oh, they're taking criminals and sending them off into space and using them as guinea pigs, but like they'll never return." But like, if they never return, what's the point of sending them to go get materials from a black hole? Like, are they just sending them off to like, fuck you, you're going off into space? Like,
I guess it's almost like a form of punishment, and then they get experimented on. The data goes back to Earth, and they just die.
yeah, yeah. So they're kind of fucked. Like all of them are just
They're
kind of
just
fucked.
science experiments.
Yeah, and but I don't know that one scene. That was like the weirdest way to have exposition. Just have these two random characters show up on Earth and just say the exposition and then cut back. Like I don't know what the fuck was with that. That was a very odd part of very odd scene. But
I
yeah,
want to
so
also
they're
mention that Robert Pattinson's character Monty is celibate. He's the only celibate crew member.
yeah, he won't like donate, I guess, his semen to the artificial insemination experiment that Dibs is doing.
And they slowly just start perishing one by one.
Yeah, it just kind of like falls apart. You can tell that's something I really love about it. You can really tell all the characters um, are struggling with the situation of being like in space and it just
And
being like
very isolated.
isolated. Yeah, yeah. It's like they are in prison or something, but it's in space, which makes it like 100 times worse. And they're just stuck there. Yeah, it's really interesting, but yeah, I don't really understand what Dibbs's motivation is for trying to have a baby or um, make a baby through artificial insemination. I didn't really. I mean, it's not really. I don't think that's really the point. I don't think you're supposed to understand, but that's a big element of it. Am I repeating myself? I think I'm repeating myself.
A little bit.
Fuck.
I mean, the prisoners, as I was saying, start dying off one by one. One dies from complications from a pregnancy.
Mm.
Another develops leukemia due to the radiation, which isn't.
Has a stroke.
I don't know where the radiation's coming from exactly. I guess I missed that part.
Yeah,
Sounds
because
like I
there's
didn't
like
watch the movie, maybe? I don't know.
yeah, yeah. There's that. There's like the he got leukemia from radiation. Then there's also a part where the one character who died from I guess um complications from giving birth or whatever. The baby died from radiation. You see in the one scene. So I guess they never really explain the
Yeah.
radiation thing, but it's just kind of there.
One guy loses his shit and tries to rape two of the female prisoners, but eventually gets killed by Robert Pattinson. Well, not Robert
No, not
Pattinson.
not
He
Robin.
throws he throws the guy to the ground, and then one of the girls he was trying to rape kills him.
Yeah, yeah. There's several rapes in this movie.
Yeah, it's very
It,
graphic.
it,
I mean, we've
it's not
mentioned this
like
before.
overall, it's not really a graphic movie, but there are definitely moments of
This ain't
graphic.
no Antichrist, but it's pretty
Yeah,
jarring
yeah. There's some of
if you're not
violence or
expecting
sex.
it.
Yeah, for sure. Because like, yeah, there's that scene. Yeah, the guy gets like stabbed to death, and then there's the other scene where Dibs, she like drugs the water, I guess, so everyone's like knocked out. and she rapes Robert Pattinson in his sleep, so she can get his semen and impregnate. What the fuck was her character? Mia Goth's character. What? It's like Boyce or Boise, something like that.
Boyce.
Real quick, Mia Goth is kind of underrated. She's a good actor.
I'm not really familiar with her, to be honest. She was also in another film with Robert Pattinson, The Devil All the Time. I think she was the girl. She was Tom Holland's sister, I think.
No, I don't. No.
I was like trying to look at what character she was, but it was unclear.
That was it was someone else. Yeah, that wasn't her. But she's in stuff like she was good in like the Suspiria remake from 2018, the Luca Guadagnino one. She was good in Nymphomaniac Part 2. I don't know. She's just a good actor.
Yeah,
actually, I think all the...
Yeah, she is the sister, I think.
No, she's not. I just looked at her Letterboxd. She's not. That was someone else. That was...
This is confusing. These images are not clear. It says Mia Goth, but it shows us completely separate actors. Like...
No, I know she was not in that. Maybe someone who looks somewhere. Was it?
It doesn't even have her listed name-wise, like a character.
She wasn't in The Devil All the Time. I know she wasn't. That was someone else. That was fucking.
Google lied to me. It says she was on it through Google. I don't know why. Maybe because Mia Wachowski or whatever her fucking name is, isn't it? Yeah, Mia Goth's not listed in
like
the
IMDb.
cast.
Does it say?
It says on Google that she's in it, but yeah. Anyways, I'm not really familiar with her at all.
Yeah, she's not in that much that I've seen, but what I've seen her in, I've liked her in. But also all the performances in this are good. Robert Pattinson's really, we'll get to that anyway. But yeah, Dibs. What the fuck was I? Yeah, she impregnates Boise in her sleep as well. So she kind of rapes her too. So there's 3 rapes in this movie. Anyway, and then she has Robert Pattinson's baby, but he's not aware that it's his baby, and he eventually ends up raising the baby, which is named Willow.
Ends up okay. So one of the prisoners decides to try to pilot a shuttle around the black hole, but Mia Goth's character ends up killing that prisoner. Nansen, I think. Yeah, Boyce kills Nansen with a shovel, takes her place, and then Boyce pretty much commits suicide by spaghettification.
Yeah, that's probably the best scene in the movie for me, because it's just so disturbing. I mean, it's not that disturbing, but like, so she's flying towards the black hole, and then like you just see her start to or the ship is like fucking like bending and shit, and she's just like obviously like struggling to just like I don't know.
She's getting pulled apart by the G's, I guess.
Yeah, and it fucking like stretches her out, and you just see her head like explode inside the thing. That's like such a disturbing scene, and like the music and stuff. It could use some music in this film. But yeah, and then after that point, everything kind of goes to shit.
Because Dibs ends up killing herself by ejecting herself into space.
Yeah.
Turney commits suicide, and he gets buried in a garden. And then there's just Monty left. What happens to the Asian girl?
Yeah, that's the one thing I didn't get. So right after, the thing about this movie is there's several points in it where it like jumps, like it cuts, and you're not sure if it's like a day later or like a year later, or like. But anyway, I think it was like right after Boise commits suicide in the black hole. What was her name? Mink. Yeah,
Mink.
Yeah, she
attacks.
She like sees that the pilot Nansen, Boise killed her, and then she like takes the shovel that she killed her with and goes up and attacks Dibs. But I don't really know why she attacked Dibs. Like I don't know why. Like maybe she was just like angry and was just like pissed off, or did she like blame, or maybe she blamed Dibs because she like because of the stuff kind of forcing her to have a baby, Boise.
Yeah.
Maybe that led her to kill herself, I guess. And then Robert Pattinson kills her. He like hits her with a shovel, and it didn't look like he killed her, but I guess he did because she's like
He never
dead
comes
after
up
that.
again.
Until in the beginning, we're kind of jumping all over the place, but who fucking cares? So does the movie. The movie jumps all over the place too. Towards the beginning, you see Robert Pattinson. He's with the baby, and he's like throws all the dead bodies out into space, just to like
It's a
save
very
energy or whatever.
cool title card scene.
Yeah, that's like it's like 25 minutes into the movie too. But yeah, it's such a cool. You just see like the bodies like hanging there in space, falling. Apparently, they wouldn't do that. Like I read, like they wouldn't like fall or like drift down. But I don't really know anything about space, so can't really comment on that. But yeah, that's a great image. Yeah, and then after that,
It's just Monty and the baby, and he raises the baby, and eventually cuts to when the baby's a teenager named Willow.
yeah, you kind of Robert Pattinson didn't look like he aged. Like I don't know how old Willow was supposed to be. I was thinking like 14, 15, something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even really
He
think
didn't
about.
look like he aged at all. Like he has like a little like patch of hair or this like blonde or something in his hair, and like then when it cuts, and it's like 13 years later or 14 years later or whatever the fuck, it's like gray.
Kind of wish it delved into like what happened during that time, because it was just him alone raising a baby. I mean, it kind of does at the beginning, but there's 14 so years. It doesn't really
Yeah,
specify her age. 13, 14, basic age for teenagers.
yeah.
But
Actually, the I think she was supposed to be 14 because at one point they say like day number, because he's got to do that thing where he like talks to the computer and does a report, so they keep the, because every 24 hours it'll shut off if they don't. But it says like day something, and I calculated it. I did some calculations,
wow,
and
math.
it was 18 years. And at one point they said they're 4 years into the journey and they're halfway there. So 4 years minus, that's about, so she was like 13 or 14. But yeah, like in that like 14 years, what the fuck happened? I guess like, I don't think that's really the point though. That's not really the point of the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then they eventually, should we just talk about the end a little bit? Because I have more stuff to say about the rest of it, but
They okay, so child is older now, and they run across a derelict ship that looks the same as theirs. So Robert Pattinson goes out to see what's up with it after they never got a SOS message back in response or whatever. And it's just a ship with dogs, and the dogs ended up eating each other just to survive, and it's pretty fucking depressing.
yeah, I see that as that whole scene as that's kind of what they did. They just kind of, they were kind of acting on their, I don't know, I guess like animal instincts of like violent and like sexual impulses. That's kind of how
I don't know if you're like into video games or not, but like it kind of reminds me of what Fallout does with the vaults in Fallout, because
I'm
the
not
vaults
familiar
pretty
with the game.
much in Fallout, the vaults serve as like a way for the company Vault Tech to experiment on these people while they're down in a vault, safe away from the radiation. So it's kind of similar in that aspect for these people getting experimented on, these social experiments.
But yeah, I kind of saw the dogs as like, that's kind of what they were. They were just kind of like animals in space. I guess, I don't know. And also there's a thing with the dog. Willow, the daughter, she says like, "Oh, it's such a cute puppy. Can we keep it?" And he's like, "No, why?" And it's like, I saw that as kind of like, earlier you see flashbacks to him thinking of how he killed, I don't know if it was his friend or something, but he killed a girl because she killed his dog. And and at another point in it, he says like,
she says it's cruel, it's cruelty, and he's like, "What do you know about cruelty?"
Also, like, at one point he says like he was raised by his dog, like that's kind of like all he had, I guess. And I kind of saw that as like he didn't want something else with that might like tear him apart in some way. I don't know. That's kind of
I
how I
guess you
saw it.
could see the whole ship thing for Robert Pattinson was kind of him redeeming himself because he stayed celibate. He was raped, and that's how he had the kid. And then he decides to raise the kid. He didn't have to raise the kid. He could have technically killed the baby, but there's probably a lot of ethical issues with that because they're gonna die anyways.
Yeah, because he even says that he's like, I could have just drowned you like a kitten, like when he's like talking to the baby, and yeah, that's kind of like his like way to like kind of his redemption, kind of just to like do something right and like raise her.
Yeah,
And but yeah, it's kind of fucked up because they're like, yeah. Then at the very end, they, I don't know if they come across another black hole or if they've just been floating around that same black hole for the past 14 years.
yeah,
But yeah, they come across a black hole and they're like, she's like, we should fly into it.
yeah.
And then they suit up
Decide to do that.
and fly into it, and it ends. And he's just like, they're flying towards it, and he's like, shall we? She's like, yeah. And then it just ends. And I don't really quite know what to make of it, but I kind of do. What? Because like the weird thing is like they're both like very like weirdly calm about the whole thing. Like so,
Yeah,
I don't think that they're
I
like
guess they
purposely like
came
committing
to
suicide.
terms with their deaths. They knew it was gonna happen regardless if they went out and did it or not.
Yeah,
So, and I guess curiosity killed the cat in a way.
yeah. Or is it like do they think like maybe there's just something, you know,
Yeah,
they
like
don't know about the black hole. There might be
I
something on
mean,
the other side.
if I was in that position, I would probably just say, "Fuck it, I'm going to the black hole. I don't know what's gonna happen. If I die, I die. I'm gonna die anyways. Why not
Yeah,
die? Uh, going out in style.
yeah. It's like they kind of accepted that
Their fate.
yeah, their fate. That's either there's no future just on that thing anyway. So either they just die together in the flying into the black hole, or maybe they come out on the other side, or who fucking knows.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think it's a good ending. It's ambiguous, I think, but and a lot of people say like, oh, it's just a thrown in ending that's ambiguous for no reason. But like, I think it's
I think that might just be the A24 hate. The A24 gets for
yeah,
being different
yeah.
in art house, I guess. Which people, I don't know why they have such a weird attitude towards A24.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, yeah, Die Hard A24, and a lot of people hate it for some reason. But
This is kind of a tangent, but like I don't think they like people who hate A24. I don't think they get like how what it means for the industry. Like
yeah,
the ideas that are being presented and actually being made. Like independent filmmaking is a huge part of the industry, but they look at it like it's some kind of art housey, like hipsterish crap.
yeah, it's like people don't. Yeah, they don't really look at it as people making the films they want to make, and it being
Yeah.
distributed as like not something that's just like unheard of because it is. Yeah, it's like people just they watch some of them and it's like, oh, this is bullshit, this is pretentious or whatever. And yeah, A24 has their misses, but
They're just being contrarian to be contrarian.
yeah, I really like A24. They have some of the best. I'm excited for The Green Knight. I'm gonna watch that probably later after we finish recording this.
I don't know if what I'm gonna. I was thinking I need to watch Barry Lyndon, so I might watch that after this. I don't know if I'm
That's a good
tired.
movie. Anyway, back to the movie. Because I still have more to say about it. So, there's some interesting things like at one point they're I forget what it is. They're moving really quickly or something in the spaceship, and it's like they're looking out, and it's like the feeling of going backwards when they're going forwards. It like looks
Oh
like they're going
yeah,
backwards, and I feel like that's kind of how the movie plays out. It's kind of like it's going backwards in a way, I guess. Jumping
they're
around and stuff.
reverting to their primal nature, I guess.
Yeah, and also just like chronologically, how it's like a non-linear structure for the movie, how it goes like backwards, I don't know. And like the way you learn about the plot. Yeah. It's just I don't know. I felt like that was metaphorical.
I was
Um,
gonna mention for the masturbation scene with the old doc we mentioned earlier. It
hmm.
almost felt like, I don't know, kind of Cronenberg Lynchian, almost that one scene in particular.
Yeah, that's
It
another
just
scene that
had
really
like a
stands out.
very
Yeah.
particular style to it that you don't really see from a lot of directors.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean for sure.
And especially when they show the scar that she has on her body.
That felt Cronenberg for sure.
Almost, yeah, it was kind of body horror-ish, almost. The whole sequence. Metal with flesh.
Yeah. Yeah. Also a little bit of body horror with the spaghettiification. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but the
There,
whatever.
spaghettification.
That
There's
that
definitely
scene.
some horror elements to it, because I mean, it's
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, it like it paints space. It's a very
The opening
terrifying
scene
thing.
was pretty unnerving for me because it starts out with just Robert Pattinson repairing something on the ship, and he's speaking to the child, a baby on the other end, and like the baby's crying, and then he almost slips and he ends up dropping the screwdriver, and it's like, what if that was fucking him? He slipped because he was distracted by the baby. He could have just been floating off in space to die.
Yeah. Yeah, and just like the wrench or whatever the fuck it was, just like dropping into like nothing pretty
It
much.
was also when he was throwing the bodies out of the ship that he
Yeah.
gathered of the dead crewmates, and I was like worried he was gonna fall out.
Yeah, because it's just like this little like step into like nothing. It's just like fucking like yeah, just like this void basically. Um, yeah, it's definitely got horror. I mean, it's not a horror movie at all, but like it's definitely got horror elements and just like the psychological stuff of being trapped in a spaceship and with like these
I'd go ahead
experiments and
and
shit.
probably say it's horror enough. With the
Yeah, yeah, it's got
experimentation, space elements, Lovecraftian vibes almost.
oh, it's Lovecraftian. You know, I don't really know what makes something Lovecraftian, but is it?
Kind of just like the fear of the unknown, like the whole they don't know what's going to happen. Like they're going to drift into a black hole. That's the unknown. Space is largely unknown.
Yeah, that is creepy. Space is kind of a it's cool, but it's also kind of like creepy.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really tell if Mia Goth was cute or creepy, but I think she's pretty cute.
Yep.
It's my two
Yeah.
cents.
Yeah. Me. I'd say the same. Yeah. Yeah. I really liked her in this. I thought she was really good. Robert Pattinson too, in particular. He's a really good actor.
He's
Um.
he's been underrated for a little bit, but he's finally getting his due, especially
Yeah.
with Batman
People
coming out
finally
next year.
recognize. People finally recognize him as not just the Twilight guy. I mean, everyone fucking says that, but like he's been a good actor. You know, I mean, since
He just
fucking
didn't have much to work with during those
yeah,
movies.
yeah, like he's always yeah, and
Just
like
like Christian Stewart.
what?
Christian Stewart got the short end of the stick too because the writing for those movies were so terrible, and they didn't really like. For a while, nobody ever like thought of Christian Stewart as a good actor, but she's definitely been known as a good actor longer than Pattinson has.
Yeah, I heard she was good in Personal Shopper, but I haven't seen it yet.
I don't remember what movie was her like breakthrough. Oh my god, she's a good actor. I think it was August Osage County or some shit. Wait, is she? Did I just completely fuck shit up? I guess she's not. No, it's not August Osage County. Fuck. Um, shit. What is it?
That's the second time you messed
Another.
up an actor being in a movie. How dare
Yeah,
you?
I'm bad at this.
Anyway, there's one scene in particular where right before they go out at the end and fly into the black hole, Monty and Willow, um, she says something like, do I look like my mother?" And you can tell that that upsets him just because,
Yeah.
because I guess they never really specifically interact in a way that like
We're
they
in a
like each other, but
relationship. Where they kind of did. You like
Yeah, like
There's
so
that
there's that
one
one scene.
scene towards the beginning where she attacks him. It was kind of like there was some tension there.
Yeah, or that one part when she's like, Boise, she's like singing a song, or she's like singing with like dirt on her face, and she's like rubbing dirt on his face. But anyway, for sure, she's like asking like about her mother, and you can tell that he's like upset by that, but it's obvious that he's like trying to act like he's not upset by it. And I don't know, he's just Pattinson, really good actor.
That movie, by the way, with Christian Stewart was Clouds of Sils Maria, which Juliette Binoche is also in, for what it's worth. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, is it Binoche or like Binoche or something? Anyway, she's a really good actor. Like Three Colors Blue. That's a great movie.
I need to see them. I've not seen them.
Yeah, the whole trilogy is good. We should talk about those on here. That'd make it for an interesting discussion. But
I think I pretty much said all I can say about this.
yeah, I mean, I feel like there's something here that I'm just missing, like a theme of it or something. I'm just.
I guess it could like be a what's euphemism for like mankind as a whole. We're all just animals at the end of the day, and we're all gonna die. I don't know.
I don't know if euphemism is the right word.
Maybe not euphemism.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's like yeah, we're all just kind of like hurtling towards death, kind of, and we're just like stuck, and we're all alone, fucked.
There's also a bit of commentary on how we treat our prisoners.
Yeah,
because everyone on the ship is essentially a victim, whether or not it's mental or physical.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, really interesting movie. I feel like, but like I said, I feel like I'm missing. I feel like every time I rewatch it, I'll get more out of it. But yeah,
that's how you know it's a good film.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I just really enjoy this movie. I enjoy the characters. Just I like the tone. It's very dark. But it's not without its. I don't know. Not lighthearted, but it's got its moments of wholesomeness, like with Monty and his daughter. Oh yeah,
there's tabooism.
Yeah, there's that whole scene when he's saying like you don't drink your own piss or whatever.
Yeah,
towards like Monty's baby, and it's like that's taboo, and he's like keeps saying taboo. That's kind of a whole film
recurring theme throughout the movie.
Yeah, the entire thing kind of feels like it's taboo. You know, something I noticed. This isn't like my observation only, because like every fucking Letterboxd review is talking about it, but like there's a lot of bodily fluids in it, like a lot of semen. There's like breast milk.
Oh yeah, the breast milk scene, which was you don't get that in a lot of films.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unless you're watching like a Takashi Miike film like Gozu or like Visitor Q, there's a lot of breast milk in those.
Anything.
We need to talk about I said it in the fucking H of the Killer episode. I'm saying it now. We have to talk about Gozu on this podcast. We cannot. I have to recommend that at some point. Anyway, but that's like in the breast milk scene in this, it's kind of odd because like in that it goes right from when she dibs she like artificially inseminates Boise. Then it cuts to that, and it's almost like it skips the entire because like it's like she has the baby. Dibs has the baby.
Dibs? You said Dibs.
Yeah, she like has the baby in like a fucking, I want to say incubator, but that's not the right word.
Oh, I know what you mean. I thought you were saying she had the baby. I'm like, what?
No. She's like has the baby in like a fucking
some kind of futuristic
under a heat lamp or something.
They do that when babies are born. I don't know what
I can't think of the word. It's like anyway. It just anyway.
We sound like idiots.
I'm good. We're just going on and on, but at least we're getting a good discussion. Anyway, yeah, that's. I don't think I have much more to say about it, but yeah, I don't think I
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Definitely a lot more than some people do. A lot of people hate it. And I could see not liking it. It's a slower paced film, and like if you're not vibing with it, I can see just like not being invested at all and it being
Just the
like
whole
anticlimactic.
aesthetic
But
drew me in.
yeah,
So
yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I would give it a 8 out of 10. I'm excited to see more Claire Denis films because I really love this. I really loved Botraval,
she's
I think.
definitely on my radar now.
Yeah, I really want to see fucking what's it called? 35 Shots of Rum and White Material. White Material in particular because that has Isabelle Huppert in it, and she's one of my favorite actors, I'd say, just from being in The Piano Teacher, which is one of my favorite films ever. I don't know. I feel like that would be a good combination, Claire Denis and Isabelle Huppert. But yeah, I'm very new to her filmography. I've only seen a couple new, or most of her films this week. But yeah, 8 out of 10, very solid. Did you already give your rating?
Yeah, I'm same as you.
So should we get right directly on to Interstellar?
Sure. Go ahead and introduce it. Introduce it.
So Interstellar from 2014, directed by the one and only Christopher Nolan. This is I'm not good with descriptions. This is the film. This is the story. This is a movie.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a movie. You know?
I mean, I can
No.
do it.
Yeah, you can do it. I'm not good at that.
All right. So Interstellar. It's Christopher Nolan, Matthew McConaughey, getting right up and into it. Basically, Earth is dying and they're losing crops. Pretty
Relatable.
fast at this point. Yeah. And so Matthew McConaughey is just like former NASA pilot who became a farmer because that's pretty much all you can do at this point. You're either a farmer or a scientist. And he discovers that these coordinates that lead him to a super secret project that NASA is doing in secret, which will save mankind. That's their plan. Transporting Earth's population to a new home via a wormhole. So yeah, that's the gist of it. Matthew McConaughey and a team of scientists go through a wormhole and try to find a new planet to settle on. And things do not go well because space is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
deadly.
so this was the first film I ever watched in 4K. Wanted to throw that little fun fact out there.
I don't know if I've ever seen them. I've seen technically I own 4K digital, but that's not like actual 4K 4K. I've never seen an actual 4K movie.
Dude. Oh man, yeah, 4K is especially a Christopher Nolan film. I mean, yeah, it looks great in 4K.
A 4K that I got, but it's like The Legend of Tarzan or some shit. I don't really care.
Yeah, they're expensive though, fucking discs and the TV and shit. But yeah, this is a very interesting film. It's got a big cast. Got a big old cast.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey, Michael Caine, Jessica Chastain,
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway, John Lithgow, Wes Bentley, Casey Affleck, and a surprise appearance by Matt, the one and only Damon.
And Timothy Chalamet's in it. I completely forgot.
Oh yeah.
All right, so real quick, I forgot a lot about this film because it's been a couple years since I've seen it as well. Same for
I haven't seen it since 2015.
Yeah, I forgot a lot about it. There are some elements of it that I remember, especially some of the visual stuff, like when they're in the wormhole and stuff. It's pretty. I remember that, but
I didn't know Timothy Chalamet at this time because he only like broke out like 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
So it was an unknown Timothy Chalamet at this time.
But yeah, it's got a big cast. It's a space epic in a way. It's a space drama epic. It's epic.
I really, really love this film. It's probably one of my favorite films of all time, and probably will remain that way because it's just like unrivaled in its execution, in my opinion.
Mm.
There's a lot of tense scenes throughout,
Yeah, definitely.
and it's like each tense scene is a like bookmark along the journey.
Yeah, and a lot of really strong. What's the word? It's very emotional as well. A lot of
Oh yeah, it's a very emotional film. This is probably like one of the only few films that can actually merit a tear from my tear ducts in my eyeball. I don't know why I said it like that.
yeah, I like this film. I really enjoy it. Um, I love parts of it, that's for sure. But I have my issues with it. And yeah, we'll get into it more. So should we kind of just talk about the plot a little bit, like we did with Highlight? Just kind of break down the.
So it's 2067, right? And the world is pretty much dying. Earth is dying. We need a new home. And the central theme throughout is the father and daughter relationship between Cooper McConaughey and Murph, who is played by
Kenzie Foy.
Mackenzie Davis. Oh no, Mackenzie Foy. My bad. Fuck me. Um,
I thought it would
yeah,
make for a good double feature with High Life because they both involve black holes. They both involve
a father and
space and a
daughter
father-daughter
relationship.
relationship, and they were both films that I haven't seen in a couple years that I were mixed on and have been wanting to revisit in a while. So
They're
yeah,
similar in some aspects, but thematically very different.
yeah, they're completely different films. They're pretty much nothing alike
I
other
feel
than
like
a few elements.
thematically, Interstellar really touches on our perseverance as a human race and how we'll probably keep striving on even if the apocalypse does come. We'll still be here.
Even though we're probably the ones who made the apocalypse. We're the ones who fucked
Yeah.
everything up to the point where there's dust.
It's sort of like a commentary on how we destroy our planet, but at the same time, we urge to go further. And like, it's not it's unfortunately not touched too much on, but it's definitely noted towards the beginning where Cooper gets called into school because Murphy gets in a fight with some of her classmates over that
The space land or the moon landing.
yeah, this moon landing being faked now is what they're going with, and Murph knows that that's complete bullshit. So yeah, the planet and a lot of the people on it have switched to the narrative that the Earth is dying, we need to fix it. Meanwhile, there's the other side, NASA, they know the fucking Earth is doomed and they're trying to find a way out for humanity's survival.
Yeah, and so it starts out, they're on the farm and stuff, and there's this one scene towards the beginning where they chase a drone of some sort.
Yeah, it's like a drone from, I think they actually did mention it was from India. Yeah, it was
But yeah,
apparently in the air.
I don't really understand what the point of that scene was. Like, it was cool, but like it didn't really. I don't. What was the point of that scene?
Basically, the drone was, it flies around. I, I forget why, but the
Anyway,
Earth is gone to shit so much that the drone kind of just was forgotten about and left up in the air. They find it, take out its black box, and they get some coordinates from it, right? Or what?
no,
No,
no. They get coordinates from Murph, the daughter. Um, what the fuck is his main character's Coop? I think they just call him Coop. I forget what his
Cooper.
yeah, Cooper. Coop. Um, yeah, Murph. In her room, she says, "What? There's a ghost
Yeah, go.
in her bookshelf that pushes books off." And Cooper finds out that there's a anomaly with gravity there,
Yeah, patterns were
and
caused by gravity.
yeah, and they're looking for or it's making a code, and they find out that it's
Representing coordinates.
yeah, and so they follow the coordinates because they are adventurous and go and they find a NASA base
Yeah, it's a secret NASA facility because, as mentioned before, there's the narrative that they faked the moon landing. NASA isn't so big into people's eyes because they refuse to drop a bomb on some poor people.
Yeah.
It's mentioned. So NASA's kind of undercover right now, trying to find a way to save humanity, and they stumble upon it.
And there's just real quick, there's just a cut in the movie, right? They get there and like Anthony McConaughey, Cooper or whatever, he gets like tased, and then like I think it's the robot, I think his name is Tars. Yeah, he like comes up and he says to Murph, it's like, "Do not be afraid." And she just starts screaming, and it cuts, and it's like a perfectly
like
cut scream.
Cut scream, yeah.
It's just like kind of a funny cut there. But yeah, so then they find out about the whole mission thing. They're gonna, and they have the people at NASA. They have no idea why the fuck he's there, Cooper, because we don't find out till later where the code came from. But yeah, he just to them he just like magically shows up. He's like the only guy who can pilot it, and or whatever.
They recruit him basically to do this job, and
to save the world.
One of the bigger human-to-human conflicts in this film is between Cooper leaving his daughter Murph behind to save the world, and she doesn't want him to go. And
he goes.
Yeah, he goes. He says, "Fuck you." No, I couldn't.
Yeah,
I'm out of here. We're going to die anyway.
Yeah, so then that starts our interstellar journey to the terrifying void of space
that suddenly had appeared 48 years ago by Jupiter? No, Saturn.
Saturn,
or is it Jupiter?
I don't remember.
Saturn. It's Saturn. Saturn has rings.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a wormhole near Saturn. And basically the wormhole allows them to travel a great distance in a very short time due to how wormholes work, which is a bit complicated. I don't know if we should go into it because we'll just get confused with the logistics of everything.
Yeah, I don't understand all the science stuff behind this. I did watch the...
I do know a lot of the science is actually pretty accurate, though they did take creative liberties, obviously, because...
Yeah, I watched like a 50-minute... it wasn't like a making of type thing in the bonus features on the Blu-ray I had, or 4K Blu-ray I had, and there was a whole thing. It was called The Science of Interstellar, and it was really interesting because like a lot of the stuff is accurate to some degree, about like time and relativity, and
especially
even the wormhole, because like
the visualization of the black hole is pretty spot on. That's what a black hole would look like.
Yeah, and so that's really interesting. I mean, I prefer that way over just like
a creative take on a black hole, or like the old classic.
No, just like
a black.
Just
void.
like the science fiction stuff in general. It's just kind of like it's just whatever, anything goes kind of. I appreciate it, and Nolan worked with an astrophysicist named Kip Thorne. He was involved with the film, so that's really interesting that a lot of it is scientifically accurate. I don't know, like they talked about some of it. It's like with the wormhole, like
we've kind of forgot to mention that the purpose of going through the wormhole is that they had sent out probes and they found 12 potentially habitable planets. Only 3 of those planets came back with positive results. So they go through the wormhole to those 3 planets to see what's up and see if any of them fit the bill for a new home.
Yeah, but it's really really fucking far away, so they have to go through a black hole that warps through. And wormhole that takes them through to the other side
near a black hole named Gargantua, which is There's the whole 2-plan thing. With Plan A involves developing a gravitational propulsion theory to propel sediments into space, and then Plan B involves launching the Endurance spacecraft carrying 5,000 frozen human embryos to settle a habitable planet. Don't know why I said it like that, but there you go.
And that comes into it more later, where they find out kind of getting ahead, but yeah, they figure out that, or Michael Caine's character, he's like on his deathbed, he's dying. Yeah, he lied, and they can't actually, like, they don't have the right data or whatever the fuck to launch the thing. Man, that's not fucking stupid. But they can't launch the thing and save humanity. So basically, they sent Cooper and the team out there to just go, they're going to do their thing, and everyone else on Earth is fucked, basically. But anyway, they go through the wormhole.
And the first planet they land on is what's it called? Miller's planet.
Yeah.
Which is an ocean world covered in knee-high water, but the catch is that there's mega giant fucking waves on the planet that come by on a regular basis. But there's a real bigger catch. I don't remember exactly how the time works per se because I didn't write it down in notes. I should have.
Yeah,
But
we sound like we don't know what we're talking about. Yeah, time is different there. So every hour on Miller's planet is 7 years on Earth, or like outside there, and that is such a freaky concept to me. Because they go down there, and then when they come back up, they left like one of the guys behind to stay up with the ship.
Yeah.
And it's like 23 years passed for him. And that's
he mentions that he like almost gave up. He was like, fuck, they're never going to come back.
Yeah, and he was like studying the black hole that whole time, basically. And it's just like, or I think he was in like, I forget what's it, like cryosleep or whatever the fuck. For part of it.
He said he did take a few naps here and there, but
like in general, he was.
And it's terrifying to be alone on a spaceship for 23 years, thinking that you failed a mission to save humanity. I don't know what I would have done.
It's like, kind of like in High Life, he also didn't really age that much. But anyway,
I mean, he did age. He grew a beard and got some white on his beard.
Did he? Anyway, but that makes that entire scene on Miller's planet extremely intense because it's like literally every second counts because, Cooper, the main character, he does want to get back to his daughter. He promised her that he'd come back, and now this, it's every hour is 7 years. It's just like flying by, and that makes it just that whole sequence is so intense. I really love that part.
They get to the planet, and it turns out that the signal that was being transmitted was just the initial signal put out, and that person was dead by the time they arrived there. But like I know they mentioned when they get back on the ship after like 23 years have passed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That she had really only gotten there just minutes before they got there, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, like she probably died like just minutes before, and that's just so freaky. It's just like, yeah, I love that whole. It's just such a trippy, and apparently that's true too.
Yeah, it's severely dilated, I think, because of gravitational time dilation.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. I'm not a scientist, but it's
me neither. But yeah, that's
a thing.
Yeah, then that takes us to one of the best parts of probably the best scene in the movie for me, which is Cooper watching the messages that his kids have sent him, or more his son, I guess, because Murph is still mad at him that whole time, I guess.
Yeah, Murph is an angsty teenager a bit and upset that her dad left, understandably so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's fair that she would be upset, but eventually I would probably forgive.
But he just watches like his kids grow up basically in like a matter of like minutes, or like he's watching the messages, and it's just such a sad scene.
It was minutes for him, but for them it was 23 years, and
worth of messages that he missed, and like it's just you can tell, and like Matthew McConaughey, he's really great acting in that scene. Just like he's missed out on so much, and it's just like. Yeah, he just watched his kids grow up right in front of his eyes in messages. Yeah, and it's just such a great scene. This is probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, it's definitely a tearjerker moment. It's like one of my favorite cinematic moments ever. It's up there with the mirror scene in Paris, Texas for me.
Um, but all right, let's see what the fuck happens from there.
After that,
Um,
they decide to use the remaining fuel to reach Man's planet, which brings in Matt Damon.
yeah,
So they get there and they break this guy out of stasis, and he's acting a bit sketchy.
that's sus.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention earlier in the film when Cooper and Murph arrive at the facility and they're talking about the astronauts they sent out. They mention Dr. Mann by name, but they never show his photo on the wall. Kind of like subtle foreshadowing, or like trying to
Yeah,
hide the fact that it's Matt Damon.
yeah. The first time I watched it, I was like, "What the fuck, Matt Damon?" I didn't know he was in this.
Yeah,
um, yeah, and
everyone's reaction.
yeah. Basically, um, the planet is uninhabitable there,
Yeah,
and but he was stuck there, and he just wanted to get off the planet, and so he sent false data saying it was um,
habitable,
habitable, and that come get me, basically,
and it was
which is such a dick move. Like
a
what
big
an
trap,
asshole.
essentially.
And
He's really good at being an asshole, actually, which he
yeah,
isn't often in movies, I don't think.
I did I didn't think he was great in this. I mean, he was good,
I
but
mean, he
like
wasn't like amazing, but like his
yeah,
character was
yeah, like
a
that's an
dick.
interesting part of the movie. But like I didn't really think.
It's honestly a bit of a low point in the movie for me,
Yeah, yeah, like
even though just every minute on that planet is kind of just it's solid, but as soon as they start to take off from that planet and Matt Damon tries to board the Endurance and use it to, leave, go back home, he fucks up and manually what's the word I'm looking for? Connects to the ship and like pretty much kills himself because he was so arrogant and didn't follow directions properly.
yeah, and then that fucks up the endurance ship, and it's like spinning. There's that really cool scene when they have to like dock it or board it.
Which is the iconic meme moment where he's like, "Come on, Tars, come on!"
Yeah, and
And the fucking music swells, and it's like,
yeah, that's just a great scene. It's like they have to like catch up with the spinning of the ship to dock it. But it's just really really
that whole
great. That's
sequence.
another great intense part. We actually we missed out on some stuff. We're kind
Yeah, we
of
kind of skipped ahead
you know
a little bit.
like I hate to. This isn't the way I like to talk about movies, just like breaking down plot like with the plot. But like for this type of thing, you kind of have to because it's kind of complicated everything going on in this movie. Um, but earlier in it, when Michael Caine's telling Cooper about the wormhole, he
Yeah,
said they placed it there.
yeah,
The mysterious they.
because they um throughout the movie, it's what's the word? I guess believed that everything was there for a reason. It's not.
Yeah, there's some kind of higher being of something or something happening
Yeah,
we don't understand that is
which we
helping them
forgot to
in a way.
mention when they were traveling through the wormhole. Anne Hathaway touches hands with what they believe at the time is they, the beings
Yeah,
we're talking about.
it was like a gravity anomaly blip thing, and she like touches
Yeah.
it. And same thing, I guess earlier. Like I think it's like the first scene in the movie. You see Matthew McConaughey or
Oh
Cooper
yeah.
flying, and like he hits one of these gravity anomaly things, and like it like fucks him up or whatever. And anyway, and also with like the thing in Murph's room, with there's a
Bookshelf.
gravity anomaly. Yeah, and I don't know, just wanted to point that out before we kept going. But also there's the scene when right after they get off the Miller's planet.
It flashes back to what's happening on Earth and the
Yeah.
children being grown up.
Mm-hmm.
And Murph is working with Michael Caine's character, Professor Brand, who plays Anne Hathaway's father in the movie. I don't
Yeah,
know if you mentioned it or not.
but there's a scene right after they get off Miller's planet when Anne Hathaway,
Oh
I
yeah,
think it's like
the
Amelia Brand. She's
the
like has
infamous
her
love dialogue monologue. Love it. That got so much
and
criticism at the time.
it did, and I hate to say it, but I just think that even if it's just her saying it and maybe just that line and the way it's written, but it's like,
Personally, it's not as big of a deal as a scene later on in the movie.
yeah, but she says, "Oh, love is the one thing that transcends dimensions of time and space." It's just,
But people like made a big deal out of it, but like at the same time, Cooper and Romilly were both like, what are you talking about? That's dumb. We have a mission. So like it's not that big of a deal to me.
it's just I don't like it because it's stupid and it's sappy and it's like
It's a
melodramatic. And
bit
like
cheesy, but
people say then we'll get more into it later about some of the weird stuff that happens in the third act. But like people say like, oh, the entire movie is love conquers all and love is like this powerful magical force that fixes everything. And I don't think that's what they were going for. I think
yeah,
it
I
was
don't think
more
it
of
is either.
like, yeah, that like people criticize it as like, oh, it's just a sappy, stupid thing where love fixes everything, and that's not what they mean. It's like,
I think it's more of love as a driving force, not the answer.
yeah, exactly. But like people criticize it saying like, and that's not how. Yeah, it's just I think that it's just so like maybe it's just written in such a sappy like way. I don't like that. I think it's kind of dumb. But
I
yeah, it's
mean,
kind of
to
an
be
infamous scene.
fair, they kind of write it in a way that puts like shines a negative light on her because it's revealed that the other third planet that's not man, the planet with Matt Damon, the wolf guy,
Wolf Edmonds.
yeah, Wolf Edmonds was her lover, and that's why she wanted to go to that planet instead of the other planet, which was the safer option.
Yeah.
And that's why she gives the whole love speech, and it's just like, come on now, there's bigger things we got to worry about
In a way, Cooper does the same thing. Like his
later on.
kids. Yeah, it's his love for um,
Murph.
Murph. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really seem like he really cares about his son that much.
I mean, his
It's
son
more
kind of
Murph.
like, I feel when okay, so when Cooper leaves, his son was like, yeah, I understand or whatever, gave him a hug. But like later
Yeah, I don't
on,
know.
it's like, Dad's not coming back. We need to get real with this shit. The planet's fucked.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Murph is trying to be optimistic. The son is not.
Anyway, yeah, he makes decisions based on you know you could say it's all of humanity, but it is his kids, and specifically Murph.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think it's just Brand's or the fuck is her first name? Anne Hathaway's character. It's like whatever.
Uh,
Brand. It's not just her character that is doing that with. It's like kind of it is
Amelia.
a theme of it.
Amelia Brand.
Amelia. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out because it is kind of a infamous scene, and we'll get into it more later, I guess. But let's see what's
There's
happening.
the okay, so we're on Earth talking with Murph and the Doctor Brand, which is Amelia's father, and he reveals to Murph that he pretty much lied about the whole operation
Yeah.
and that they were sent for a separate reason that she thought. And while she finds this out, Tars she records a clip to tell Amelia Brand that her dad has died and that he lied. And Tars sees this while they okay. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of a weird point because it shows the ship flying, right? And Tars is watching the clip, but he's watching it alone. They're not on the ship with him. So how the fuck did Tars get on the ship when they were flying to the planet? Am I missing something?
Um, which planet?
Man's planet, Matt Damon.
When they're flying to? Wait,
I
what?
just I just remember
Oh,
Tars is
isn't there another
watching the.
robot? Aren't there two of them?
There's not another Tars. It's the ship robot that flies. I forget its name. Case.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of. Anyway, we're kind of getting hung up on this little. But yeah, yeah, and Cooper wasn't aware that. I mean, I guess no one other than maybe some of the main people of the mission or whatever weren't aware that um, there wasn't a way to finish or the finish the equation or whatever to the thing.
There was an equation. Turns out he had already figured it out, and the planet was fucked.
Mm-hmm.
But he told that there might have been a transfer, whatever. Basically, people on Earth were doomed.
Yeah, and I don't even know where do we go from here. I'm fucking looking at my notes.
We kind of went backwards. Then
Yeah.
we went forwards and backwards. Now we're going back forwards.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sorry for jumping around so much. My poor listeners having to listen to us
acting
ramble.
like high life over here. Clear to
Yeah. Yeah. We're you know it appears as though we're going backwards, but we're actually going forwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
we're back on the ship, and the big obstacle in the way now is the black hole. So what they do is, with insufficient fuel to reach the only planet remaining, they do a slingshot maneuver using the black hole to flip them around, but their catch is that it's going to add another 51 years.
And then Cooper pulls a and the ending of High Life and flies directly into the
space cowboy moment with Cooper. He's like, "I'm eating out of here, bitch." He decides to go into the black hole.
But I forget why.
I think it's to give her an extra boost, because he would have been like
Yeah. That's right. And then he goes inside the black hole and enters the Tesseract.
Yeah, and him and Tars find themselves in some kind of Tesseract, and this is where it gets really weird, a bit really corny, but weird, and this is where the hard sci-fi kicks in.
Yeah, so he's inside
this massive Tesseract, which is basically allows him to go through anywhere in time and space, is what I gathered from it.
Yeah.
But the specific moment that he needed to follow was the bookshelf moment from the beginning of the film. Because it's implied that this was all planned to happen, almost like it was their fate, which is, I don't know how I feel about that particular element.
Yeah, and it's like, so he's inside like a gravity anomaly in Murph's bedroom, and he can like control gravity from inside the Tesseract. I don't know why the fuck this is inside of a black hole. I don't know why.
We don't really know what happened. We don't know for 100% sure what happens if you enter a black hole. So this is kind of
basically he can communicate with Murph. He was the ghost in her bookshelf, as she talked about earlier. And like even like at the very beginning, like one of the first lines is like Murph says, like Cooper sleeping, and she says, "Oh, I thought you were the ghost," or something like that. It's like foreshadowing that he was.
Yeah.
Where these fucking notes, man. Bruh.
Where do you write your notes?
Oh, I write up like just like on the notes app, and then I put them in like a pages. I write them down on my phone while I watch, and then I put them in like a pages thing on my iPad, and I like organize them. But I didn't organize these because we were ready to record, and I only did the high life one. So this is just a complete fucking mess of notes. Anyway, yeah, he can communicate. He was the one who sent the coordinates to himself at the beginning to NASA. Which is weird. It feels like a paradox. It's like if he wouldn't have had the coordinates, he wouldn't have gone to NASA and gone to space and gone to a black hole and then sent himself coordinates.
There's one thing that we're missing.
It's like a time travel thing.
Stay scene, which is an emotional part in the beginning of the movie. But it's like the stay scene is before he realizes that he has the power to change future events. So I guess the whole stay segment was going to happen regardless. Because
Oh yeah,
he was in the Tesseract, but he didn't know that he could use the Tesseract for other means at
yeah.
that second.
He was just kind of panicking. He says like stay or whatever. Yeah, and like just as he's leaving, like a book drops out of the bookshelf and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he did that, and then he did like the
He
let's
ends
see.
up manipulating the second hand of the
Yeah,
wristwatch he
because
gave Murphy.
right before he leaves, he gives Murph a wristwatch, and he has one, and it's like they, you know,
And he talks
when I
about
get
how
back, we
time
can
is
see
going
the
to work
difference.
differently for each other.
Yeah, and so then she sets it on the bookshelf, and he fucks with it, and puts in what is it, Morse code.
There's a term for that. It's a trope. MacGuffin, I think? Or no, yeah, MacGuffin.
Yeah, yeah, kind of, and he puts the Morse code for. This is what
Yeah,
fucking
it's a
confuses me.
MacGuffin.
So TARS gets data from inside the black hole that they needed to launch the
I don't understand
fucking
how
thing.
TARS even is
I don't even know what the
in,
fuck.
in
What were they
there.
looking for from inside a black hole? Was it something about? I don't know what.
Why'd they
I
go
don't
into the
think.
black hole?
No, what? They needed some kind of Michael Caine brand or whatever. He needed something from inside the black hole, some kind of to finish his equation so they can launch the thing. And without it, since you can't go inside a black hole, they're fucked. But then he
That was all
programs that in
bullshit.
more. Yeah, and he programs it into Morse code into the watch, and so then older Murph, she uses it, and that's another weird thing. She they're older, and she's back in the house because she's like visiting her brother or whatever, and
Because her brother's wife and child are showing symptoms of
they're ill.
illness because of the dust. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
and oh, my goldfish is freaking out. What the fuck? What
Which
the
the
fuck
brother
is he
is kind
doing?
of a. I
What
was
the fuck is
gonna.
he doing? He's freaking out. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's how I feel about the brother. Yeah.
Oh no, my goldfish. Because
I know. I
what if
know.
one of them just died the other day? I had these goldfish for like 5 years, and one of them just died. Fucking sucks.
F.
I don't know if 5 years is old for a goldfish or not, but they didn't. Anyway,
I think goldfish can live up to like 20 or so years if kept in the
damn.
right environment. But
I thought they were in the right environment. I hope I didn't fuck something up and kill them. I feel bad. Anyway,
I think it has to. I was going to say the brother is needless. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? He's a dick for no reason, pretty much.
yeah, like he
Murph is
punches
like,
Topher
your
Grace for some reason.
family doesn't. Murph is like, we can get your family checked out. It's no big deal. And he's like, bleh. Like, okay,
Yeah,
be a
like
dick.
Topher Grace. Oh yeah, Topher Grace is in this. Does
Poor
anyone
Topher
remember
Grace
Topher
gets
Grace?
fucking
Yeah,
punched.
he's like, oh, your family, they're fucking sick. We need to get them to a doctor. And is that when he just punches him in the face? It's like, why? Why are you such an asshole? Anyway, she's back in her room, Murph, and it's played by Jessica Chastain, the older version. And she sees the watch, and it's like, oh, it was you. It was like that. It's her. She finds, oh, it's like that's my father. But it's like, why the fuck did she come to that conclusion? Like, there's no reason for her to think that right then.
And
You
then
know?
she like runs out of the house and everything's all like happy. She hugs her brother. It's like, I know how to fix it.
Yeah, and like then she like figures out the equation and shit, and like she like yells at Eureka and stuff, and then they fix that or
I
fix
don't.
the thing
What's
so they can like.
is the Eureka thing a science thing? I
That was like,
think it.
wasn't that the dude that like sat in a bathtub and figured out that something about volume, and then he ran around naked yelling Eureka?
Okay, apparently there's a subreddit for Interstellar. Okay,
Really?
what
Fuck.
was.
I did not. I did not read the IMDb trivia. How dare I watch these movies
Okay,
without
she
watching
solved
the
the
IMDb?
equation Dr. Brand was working to solve the gravity issues. I don't understand how this is a what does Eureka mean?
That's like a thing. It's like when you come to like a conclusion because that dude
Yeah,
jumped out of. I don't know. Whatever.
science.
And anyway, Cooper he sent that, but yeah, we're rambling. But the why?
two idiots describe Interstellar.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm sure there's podcasts out there that are like, we analyze every fucking thing about Interstellar for 6 hours straight, and now you can fully understand it. But like,
We're kind of new to this,
fucking,
okay?
yeah, give us a break,
Cut us
bro.
some slack.
But yeah, Cooper is inside the thing, and
No.
he But why is there a gravity anomaly thing right in Murph's bedroom? And that's what it's like. It is because it's like I saw some theories. It was like because her love for her
No,
father. Listen,
I
it's
don't
like
like
her
that.
love for her father is so strong that because the only two things that can transcend space and time is gravity and love, and so it's bull.
I don't like that.
I
I
don't like it
think it's
either, but
more
I think that's
like
what it fucking is.
Murph was
Because
the only person who could save Earth, so that's why the fifth dimensional beings went to Murph because they
yeah,
knew that she was the one to save the planet, not because of love or anything.
I know, but I think we're giving it too much credit because it is like this is a really good movie. I really enjoy this movie, but I think it does get a little too sentimental at times or too melodramatic.
I don't
And
mind the sentimental moments. It's the when it gets into the hard sci-fi is where it kind of loses me a little bit because it gets a little wacky, especially with the lovey thingy.
yeah, there's the
But I
love thing and just want to point out real quick, like there are kind of in the Paris, Texas last episode, we were talking about how that movie didn't have like the big emotional beats you'd expect in a movie like this, or
yeah,
in a you know this kind of does like it's got like when he leaves kind of felt like I just felt like I've seen that before, or
it
kind of
feels
like
blockbuster-y, but
yeah, it's
not
like
quite. It's like
blockbuster isms kind of, or like when Michael
that's
Caine dies, that is such a like scene
Hollywood
that I've
moment.
seen yeah, it's such a
I
generic
don't
Hollywood
mind
moment, and
that. That's kind
I
of
don't know, I
like
just wanted to point
I
that out.
cut the movie some slack in that regard because I don't know. I think it does the tense moments and emotional moments really well, minus the whole love transcends time thing.
Yeah,
Um,
but like it's like I'm not sure if the intention was for the love thing to be that actually figuring into the
yeah,
like thing, but like it was more of that's what that's why
it was the driving force.
yeah, and
It was the
like
why.
that's what keeps people humanity going, kind of. That's what that's why they would travel to another planet. I don't fucking know, whatever. And but yeah, there's just things about it that I don't get, and about them, the mysterious, or they. Um, Apparently, there's some kind of fifth dimensional beings of some sort that placed a black or a wormhole um, next to Saturn, was it?
Saturn.
And they all it's just like, what the fuck is that? Like, it's just like some kind of fifth
It's kind of
dimensional
like
being. Like, what? But like, you could
Bill.
also see it as like, you know, the movie wouldn't have happened, without them getting the coordinates, which is Cooper giving himself the coordinates. So you could see like in the future at some point we can figure out how to do something in a fifth dimension, and so then like the future us. I think there's a similar element in Tenet, actually. I'm not gonna get into that. That's a whole other fucking thing. But it's like maybe like us in the future figure out how to do stuff in the fifth dimension and set a
Yeah,
wormhole back to help ourselves. Maybe something like that. Because like if you think about it, at the beginning of the movie,
that is what
they
it's
wouldn't.
implied.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to do any of it without Cooper going into this weird fucking thing in was it like the fourth dimension? I think. Whatever.
Fifth. No, he's viewing a third because Earth is like a 3D dimension, so he's
Yeah.
in the fourth dimension,
Hmm.
and then I guess
Yeah, but like he
beyond
wouldn't
that.
have. Yeah, so it's like I don't know. It's interesting, but it almost feels like a Deus Ex Machina type thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. And then then the Tesseract like folds in on itself, and Cooper is spit out of the black hole, out of the wormhole for some reason, not the into right next to like the spaceship, and then they save him. And I was like, what? Why? And why is there a tesseract inside of a black hole? Why is there a wormhole? Just like some of the stuff, just it doesn't really make sense. But I guess it does because it's like, oh, we don't understand it, basically. You know?
The creative liberties you're taking.
Yeah, but yeah, and then they save Cooper, and take him to the big spaceship thing that
It hits the formulaic beats that you'd expect from a typical Hollywood blockbuster.
Mm-hmm. And he finally gets to see his Murph again, and she's old.
Older than him and probably gonna die before he does.
Yeah, she's like on her deathbed, basically.
Which is morbid.
Yeah, and she's like, no parent should watch their child die, but she's like 3 times his age or some shit. That was like kind of fucking weird. Or like twice. Oh, I don't know. And I don't know. I almost feel like Cooper could have like died or like sacrificed himself, to, send the information to Murph.
Okay,
Inside the black hole instead of being spit out back.
After he meets Murph again, he goes off to find Amelia, but it's never explained how Amelia still wouldn't Amelia technically be however many years back in the past?
Well, when they went around the black hole, didn't they both go 51 years in the future?
Oh, yeah, I guess that's how it works, yeah.
Yeah, and she went to the planet to start the colony of embryos or whatever.
Yeah, so so everyone's 51 years into the future, so
yeah, so they're both the same age as they started. Yeah, they're both the same age as they were to begin with, or except for a couple years older or whatever, because they went through the thing. But
pretty much ends on a note where Cooper is going to find her.
Oh, and fucking Edmonds or whatever. She sees like a grave for Edmonds, so she went there. She was in love with him or whatever, and he was dead.
Was that last planet Edmonds' planet? Because it'd be fucking really ironic if it was.
Yeah, because that was like she saw like a grave or something that had his name on it, wasn't
it? I don't know if that was his grave or like something she made for him. Because it was her lover. I don't
fucking know.
I might need to Google this. Okay, so it was Edmund's habitable planet.
Yeah,
habitable.
That's kind of how I took that. And that he was dead. That's kind of how I saw it. And then,
okay, no, I got it now. They did the 51-year thing, the slingshot, to get to Edmund's planet, right?
Mm-hmm. And
Cooper decides to go to the black hole, so that means Amelia goes to Edmund's planet because they didn't have enough fuel to do it normally.
Yeah, and he yeeted into the black hole, so he didn't. But they're both 51 years older.
Yeah. Okay, so I got everything now.
No, I don't. It's like
I don't got everything, but
yeah, I just I watched some video essays on this and stuff, and it's like some people really have like a clear understanding of it. I've only seen this film twice. I really don't have a clear feeling that I'm not really. I don't feel like I really understand it fully.
Time because I saw it in theaters, then I saw it with a friend, then I saw it when I bought the Blu-ray that I have back in 2015. So this is my 4th viewing. But it's been 5 years.
Yeah, I've only seen it twice. Once a couple years ago and once midweek or mid this week. And I just, I don't fully understand it. I feel like there's a lot here that I'm just not wrapping my head around because it is kind of a complex film. There's a lot of layers to what the fuck's going on in it. But
with the positive aspects, it does what it does really well. I don't know how I'm trying to fucking word this.
It accomplishes what it set out to do very well.
I don't know. What am I trying to say?
But yeah, I think it's a very well-made film. Very well-made. I love the some of the. I love the way it looks. Oh, what?
It's high moments are very high moments, but its low moments are kind of just there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. I definitely have my issues with it, but overall, I think it's a pretty great film.
Yeah.
It is like kind of a mind fuck in a way. Like a lot
Yeah.
of other Nolan films are, like Inception and fucking Tenet.
I
Um,
remember not liking Inception the one time I saw it, but I was like 10, so I don't care.
yeah, everyone loves everyone loves Inception, but like I'm mixed on that one as well. I kind of feel like this for a lot of Nolan films. It's like there's a lot of really great stuff, and then some stuff that's just like that I'm just not a fan of that brings it down for me. Um,
I, out of what I've seen, his best film for me is personally The Dark Knight.
hmm. Yeah, that's definitely one of the better superhero
Well,
films I've
actually,
seen.
no. I don't know why I said Dark Knight. Interstellar is my favorite from him.
Hmm. I really enjoy some of his
Dark Knight's really good though.
yeah, I do like some of his more slightly grounded films. Like The Prestige is probably my favorite,
Have you seen,
actually.
what is it, The Following, I think?
Following, yeah, I've seen all those films. Yeah, Following is okay. It's not.
I've not seen The Prestige, which I
Yeah.
need to.
Oh yeah, The Prestige is probably my favorite. I really love Memento as well. I need to rewatch it though because it's been a while. But not the biggest fan of what the fuck, Insomnia. That one's okay. Pacino's good in it, but yeah, Nolan. It's like I'm not a huge Nolan fan. I'm not like there's so many people who are like
It's like,
Nolan's like
oh
one
my
of
God, Nolan.
yeah, but like I appreciate a lot of stuff about his films, and I love how he does a lot of stuff with practical effects. Um,
Yeah, like a
yeah,
lot of the
I
ship
really like
flying sequences when it was like close to the ship, they looked practical, like they were filmed with miniatures almost.
yeah
I don't know how they
yeah
filmed them. I could
yeah.
probably figure it out, but
There was another special feature that I didn't watch that was more about that type of behind the stuff scene stuff, and I didn't watch it because I'm a lazy, incompetent fuck. Where am I going with this? Anyway,
me too.
but yeah, there's a lot of stuff I love about Nolan films, and a lot of stuff I don't really like. One thing, a lot of the dialogue is exposition. This is pretty much goes for most Nolan films. Just a lot of exposition, but it kind of works in this one because they are like scientists trying to figure shit out. Like they're like, all right, how are we gonna get from here to there, and stuff like that. So it kind of works in this film. But there are points where I don't think it works. Like earlier in the film, like we were talking about, when he's talking to like the principal or whatever of Murph's school, and he's kind of talking, and he says something about it how his wife died from I forget what it was, like cancer or something, brain cancer. I forget, but like
Yeah.
that wasn't really that. Not subtle. It's not the word. It's like that wasn't really. It didn't really feel like he would have said that there, and like just some of the exposition stuff is not very. I don't know. There's a lot of exposition in Nolan films, and it can get a bit tiring at points. But I don't know. I really enjoyed this movie. I did. A lot of. I feel like the good parts of it kind of outweigh the not so good parts of it.
Yeah.
But I'm still mixed. I thought I would like it a lot more this watch, and I do, but I'm still mixed on it. Unfortunately.
I really like this film a lot. It's one of my favorite films. I guess because the subject matter is really up my alley and I like space and it just hits it all for me.
Mm, I get that. I get that. Um, do you think we're nearing the end of the Interstellar discussion?
Yeah.
Something I wanted to point out. Maybe I'm just stupid and this is like a space thing that I just don't understand. But when they're inside of the wormhole, um, it kind of reminded me of like, yeah, it kind of reminded me of that like really trippy scene in 2001, where like you see you see like light and stuff going in like two opposite directions, and I was thinking, is that a reference to 2001, or is this some kind of space thing that I don't understand, and I'm just thinking like, oh, is that a 2001 reference?
I know Tars, when he's first meeting Tars, he's like he made a 2001 joke, but I can't paraphrase it because I don't
You
remember
know,
exactly.
TARS kind of looks like the monolith from 2001: Space Odyssey. I felt like that was kind of a homage, kind of an homage, or however the fuck you say it, to 2001. I mean, I don't really think there's a way you can make a film like this without being inspired in some way by 2001: A Space Odyssey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me just skim through my notes. Really great special effects. It won Best Visual Effects Academy Award for 2014. I just love the way the black hole looks, and
That's what she said.
And I really love the way the wormhole looks as well.
Yeah.
It's like a giant like orb or globe, or the fuck is it? Where I'm looking for?
Did he?
What?
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 I don't know.
I'm gonna have to edit the fuck out of this. At one point, someone says, "Once you're a parent, you're the ghost of your child's future." It's funny because he's like the ghost. He's the ghost of the child's future. I don't know.
He's haunting his own kid.
Yep.
What a dick.
I thought it was interesting that TARS had a pretty much like normal human sounding voice. The robot.
Oh yeah. He kind of sounds like Matt Damon, but it's not.
I think that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much all I kind of gotta say about it.
Yeah, I give it about a 9 out of 10.
Surprisingly, like, wait, before we get to that, I'm still like skimming. Yeah, surprisingly, like I said, most of what's written down in my notes, even though I didn't read most of it because it's not organized. Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's about all I have to say about it. I watched this with my sister, and she said it reminded her of Ant-Man.
What? How old is your sister? I don't understand the comparison.
She's a couple years older than me.
Oh.
She she thought it because like in Ant-Man, he's stuck in like the microscopic world, and that reminded her of like Cooper being in the Tesseract, and just some of the stuff with like the daughter, and like how I don't know why the fuck she remembers so much about Ant-Man. It's like one of the most forgettable Marvel movies. But I guess in Ant-Man there's like he has a daughter that he likes, and also the one dude has like a daughter who's like older who doesn't like him. And that's kind of like Jessica, like older Murph in this. I don't fucking know. I don't know what she's talking about, but I don't know. She just reminded her of Ant-Man.
What? I don't know. I'm not even high, but damn.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I would give this a. I've been debating this the whole time. Whether I should give it a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. I'm like very close to giving it an 8. I think I'll go up to an 8 on rewatch. I would give it a 7. I would give it a solid 7 because there's so much of it that I really love, and just a lot of it that I'm just not really into, and not just doesn't do it for me. But yeah, I think probably on rewatch, I'll probably bump it up to a solid 8. So
it's
yeah,
9 for me. Good old 9. I don't know. I'm saying it like that. It's a 9 for me.
That's a good rating. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm maybe missing something in it, kind of like I did for High Life, because I'm stupid and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I guess it's about human perseverance and faith in humanity. I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, boy.
And how we're treating our Earth like shit.
Yeah, because yeah. Damn, son, we've been talking for an hour and 51 minutes.
That's good.
We're probably gonna go over 2 hours now that we're gonna.
Yeah, because we gotta talk about
what we watched this week.
Yeah.
You want to start us off?
Sure.
That wasn't a very smooth segue, was it?
No.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
So
I'm
I
tripping,
guess we
bro.
can get into what we've watched this week.
Yeah, you can start us out if you want.
I watched Suicide Squad finally. I was a bit late to the party.
The Suicide
Actually,
Squad or Suicide Squad? Because the new one has a the at the beginning.
the Suicide Squad, the good one. And that travesty we got like in 20 fucking what, 16, 17? I don't know what it was. This movie is a lot better. It's a really solid superhero movie. I haven't seen I haven't seen Wonder Woman or the fucking Aquaman films, but for me, this is probably the best DC film out there of the current DCEU, whatever it is.
I don't even
I'm
know
not
what the
counting
fuck
the
they're
Dark
doing.
Knight. I like the Suicide Squad. I thought it was funny. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
I'd see a second one easily if
yeah,
they
I
ever
can.
do one.
I know why it's better. It's because James Gunn knows what the fuck he's doing. Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I saw that. I didn't watch it recently. I watched like a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I thought it was fun too. It was
It's a good
I don't
popcorn
know.
flick.
I was maybe expecting something different when I was going into it than what I got. But yeah, it's a fun movie.
I think it's got on par with what I was expecting, something kooky and different from what I've seen, and that's what I got.
Yeah,
I was
man, I
expecting a
don't
good
want to.
portion of the squad to die earlier on. I was like, this cast is way too big and stacked for everyone to be in this fucking film consistently.
Can we just say like spoilers for it for like 10 seconds?
Go ahead.
All right,
Sorry.
so spoilers for the Suicide Squad. So for some reason, I was under the impression that there would be a very large Suicide Squad, and
Yeah.
throughout the entire movie, they would all die off one by one, and it would be like, fuck all these people. They're all getting picked off throughout the entire movie. But what we got was in the first scene, we got like Michael Rooker, and a whole bunch of other people. Weasel, Pete Davidson.
Rooker went out quick.
Exactly, and it's like, yeah, we got fucking Captain Boomerang and shit, and it's like they all die immediately, and it's just kind of a joke.
They
It's
like brought back one of the only good characters from the other film, and they kill him off.
And like the thing about that is like, I was kind of disappointed because I kind of wanted more people dying throughout the movie, I guess, or at least I was expecting that. And like that's the exact thing they did in Deadpool 2 with X-Force, where they have I guess spoilers for Deadpool 2 too, but where they have an entire group of people or entire group and they all die in one scene gruesomely. And like I kind of liked Michael Rooker.
Except for the one guy. The regular guy, didn't he survive? The fucking dad dude?
No, he gets like acid. Doesn't get like dissolved by acid.
Fuck.
Man, I watched that movie so many times when it came out because I was so into like Deadpool and like that whole vibe.
I like Deadpool 2 way better than Deadpool 1, to be honest.
It's been a while since
like
I don't know what the fuck I don't know what the fuck I'd think of Deadpool now because maybe my taste in movies have changed a little bit since those came out. But yeah, I watched that movie so many times. Yeah, fuck yeah, that was like my main.
I didn't even care for the first Deadpool when I saw it in theaters. I was just like, I'm disappointed.
I really like that one. I mean, I don't know. Like I said before, I don't know what the fuck I think of it now. But like, when I first watched it, like in fucking 20s, I think I watched it like for the first time in like 2017. I was like really into it. I love like the whole like edgy, darker or more.
I don't
like
care for the
gruesome
edgy stuff. I like the fun aspect. It felt a little more what's the word? Carefree, almost like. It wasn't a super serious superhero film, which I'm tired of.
Yeah, it wasn't like Logan, where it's like it is like R-rated and it's serious. It was like, it's just more goofy. It's breaking the wall and fourth wall and stuff. But yeah, anyway, they did that same thing in the Suicide Squad that X-Force did. It's just like I kind of expected this different thing where it'd be this huge Suicide Squad of people, and they'd all be dying throughout the movie. But instead, we kind of got the same thing where it's like, yeah, some of them die, towards the end, but like for the majority of the movie, they are all there. Just I don't know. It's just my own expectations because it's like I thought it was going to be like throughout the movie they were going to get picked off, and I was going to be like, this isn't the typical superhero movie of just one group. They're going to be dying left and right. I don't know.
I fell in love with Ratcatcher. I can say that.
Yeah.
She a cutie.
It wasn't like Ratcatcher 2 or something.
Yeah, it's Ratcatcher 2 because her dad was Taika.
Yeah, I did not expect Taika Waititi to pop up in there.
Always a
I
pleasant
liked Weasel. Weasel was.
Weasel is
It had some really funny moments, like when it's like I don't know. They say something like oh, is he a werewolf? And he's like, no, he's not dangerous at all. And it's like, well, technically he is. He's killed 27 children. Whatever. I'm just. We're not doing a full review of Suicide Squad, but it had its funny moments. And I enjoyed the. Whatever. We're going on and on about this, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I kind of expected something different, but it was a fun movie. That was your little mini review of the Suicide Squad. If anyone cared to have that little bonus. Little bonus. What else did you watch this week?
Okay, so I also watched Menace to Society, which is the only other film I watched this week.
You slacking, bro?
I'm always slacking with film for some reason. I'm actually been into fucking Quake for some reason, and Succession on HBO. Those two things, plus Hades on fucking Xbox, have just taken up so much time of my week, and I do not regret it because I haven't played a fucking video game like that in a while, so it feels good to do that. But anyways, off topic. I don't care. Do we need to cut some of this stuff out? Because I feel like it'd be easier to connect with our audience if it's just like we're not being so formal about it. You know what I'm saying?
Are we being formal?
I mean, I guess if we like cut out like too much and.
I just cut out a lot of the stuff where it's like we kind of ramble and it really doesn't go anywhere.
I actually, honestly, haven't listened to any of the episodes because I'm like, I've always been that way about like any of my art. I don't like watching it or listening to it.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't edit the fuck out of it. I usually edit out stuff where it's like we're like, okay,
yeah,
that or like if there's like a awkward pause or like if it's like, oh yeah, there's a part in the movie where it's like, yeah, they went to the black hole. Oh wait, I repeated myself. Something like that. I cut that shit out because it's just it's annoying to listen to it, and we're not on video, so I can't edit the audio without it, fucking it up. But yeah, I don't. If you listen to like the first couple episodes that I did with Dan and Liam, we were kind of not at all used to talking on a podcast, obviously, and it did seem sort of serious, and we weren't really having any fun. And I feel like it's lightened up a lot since then, and maybe it'll lighten up even more. But like, I'm not trying to make it like, oh, this is the serious movie podcast where we seriously discuss Interstellar as a motion, as a the piece of art of cinema that it is. It's not. It's we're just chilling, talking about movies. I mean,
discussing movies.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. If we get serious and we're seriously discussing something, that's fine. But like, yeah, it's not. I'm not trying to be too serious.
We'll get better along the way too.
Yeah, I mean
this episode is already it's going better than the last one. I feel.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. But like, I was just last or 2 nights ago, whatever. The other night I was listening to the first episode we did, like the Hellraiser episode, and then I listened to the first episode I did in general with each of the Killer episode, and then the Paris, Texas one, just like listening to clips of it, and I feel like we have gotten better in just the past, like, it's only been 2 like weeks. A fucking month or whatever since it's been like a month and a couple weeks since I started the podcast, and I feel like it's getting better, and especially now that you're on, even just from the Hellraiser episode, I feel like we're getting better. So yeah, like who knows? In another month, we might sound like pure professional podcasters or something. But like, yeah, like I'm saying, I'm not trying to make it too professional. Yeah, I'm not trying. I don't cut out too much, just because it's like we're laughing about something or we're joking. I'm not trying to make it. It's not a professional like analyzing movies. We're just chilling and talking about stuff. Because it's like I've seen a bunch of movies, but like I'm not like some kind of like film historian. I don't really know what the fuck I'm talking about. I can just kind of give my opinion and like some general thoughts about stuff. Maybe I'm insightful. Maybe we're talking about something someone wouldn't have watched otherwise. But like, I'm not. The reason I even started or had the idea to make the podcast was just I feel like there's a lot of I can leave this in. Fuck it. We can talk about why I'm in. But like, um, just I want to talk about movies because it's something I like, and yeah, fuck it. We can just. Anyway, how was Menace to Society?
Menace to Society. I don't know what to say much. I don't know what to say about this film. I really liked it. I was kind of mid on it actually for like a good portion of the runtime until like the latter half things started like piecing together and I was like, wow. And then the ending, which like totally bumped up the film like half a star for me. Because I didn't think they were going to go this route. And I
Interesting.
actually
Yeah.
had like I didn't realize that at the time, but I had like cared about some of the characters. So I was like, yeah, it's a nice slice of life film because this is definitely a what's the word I'm looking for? Slice of life I'm not familiar with at all because I'm white.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been wanting to see that one ever since it was released for Criterion because if something's going to be released by Criterion, it's like, oh, so it's actually like worthy of being on Criterion.
It's a really well written film, and it's a nice little cautionary drama.
In a 4K, and actually, I think we said that last episode, didn't we?
I think so. I do recommend the movie for what it's worth. If you're into crime films, go ahead and watch it. It's definitely worth the viewing. But yeah, that's pretty much the only two films I've watched this week.
Plus,
Aside
obviously,
from
the ones, yeah.
yeah.
All right, I watched more than I have been watching because I finished 6 Feet Under. Watched the final season. Really great overall. Just the whole show is really, really solid. Yeah, I really like the whole thing. The finale is pretty strong. A lot of sometimes shows just fall
I saw
flat on their
the
face at the
pilot
finale.
of the show, but I saw the pilot like 2 years ago. Or no, when the pandemic was starting and HBO had like a bunch of free episodes and shit come out.
Oh yeah,
I watched the first episode of 6 Feet Under. But I forgot to mention I've been watching a lot of Succession on HBO.
I think you did say that, didn't you?
I didn't really go into it. I mentioned it.
Oh,
I name dropped it, but like Succession is really good. It's my new addiction TV show wise. Kieran Culkin in the fucking show is amazing. And
yeah. I've heard that
Brian
show's good.
Cox. It's good. It kind of like reminds me of like I don't know if they were going for this. I don't know how to describe it. It's a bit serious. It's you know The Big Short, right?
Yeah.
It's like The Big Short because it's an Adam McKay show, pretty much.
Oh.
So it's like filmed similar. So like the camera will zoom in, but it almost like it's like they're in person. I don't know how to describe it. If I'm describing this in any
I think I know
way
what
that
you
makes
mean. I think I know what you mean.
almost like Office like or Arrested Development like when they like zoom in on the character to see their reaction.
Do they talk to break the fourth wall?
They don't
like
talk
doing
to the character.
Big Short?
No, they never like break the fourth wall. That's the thing with it. It's if you've seen The Big Short, then that's what you can expect from the
Oh, that's
show.
interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. I heard the show was good. I've been wanting to check it
But
out for a
I
while.
was going to say, I don't think they went for this exactly, but it kind of like I was thinking it's almost like the Trump family in a way
Yeah.
because it's all based around one rich family and all the seedy shit they get up to, and the father of the family and company that they own is like a really I don't know. It's really good show. I'm mumbling at this fucking point. Watch
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It's on my watch list of shows, but I got like a lot of shows I want to watch.
It's got a great cast. Brian Cox is always fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking for a new show to watch. Because I finished 6 Feet Under, so I might give it a shot sometime.
You should watch Oz. Cough cough.
What?
Oz.
Oh, you just cut out there for a second, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oz. I watched the pilot for a couple shows. I watched the one for True Blood. It's another Alan Ball show. He's the guy who did
I don't know how I
6
feel
Feet
about
Under.
True Blood. Is it okay? Is it good?
I watched the first episode of it. or at least most of the first episode, and I wasn't into it. Just the whole vampire thing was sort of, I thought it was kind of stupid,
I
and
don't
I just didn't really like the tone of it. I thought it was kind of,
Yeah.
it didn't look like something I would be invested in. I mean, so I didn't
It
watch
looks
that.
like
I
a
also,
soap opera, but it's on HBO and they're vampires. That's what it
yeah,
looks like to me.
exactly, and like, yeah,
I mean,
I
it's got a
wasn't
good
into it.
cast though, but
I wasn't feeling it.
unfortunately, a good cast doesn't mean a good show.
Yeah. I also watched the pilot or the first episode of The Wire, and it was really good.
Oh,
I really enjoyed it.
I need
But
to, go. I've seen the first 2-3 episodes of The Wire, and I never like continued on. I don't know why.
yeah, I watched. Yeah, like it was really solid. I definitely want to watch the whole, or at least
I watched
continue
the
watching at some point. But I wasn't really.
pilot of The Sopranos too, which is a really good pilot.
Oh, I saw that a while back. But yeah, I wasn't for the Wire. I just wasn't really in the mood to watch the type of show at the moment.
Yeah.
I'll probably give like Oz or Succession a shot at some point, just to see if I'm into it, because I'm kind of looking for a new show. You know that feeling when after you finish a show
Yeah,
that you really like, and it's like, fuck, where do I go now?
there's a couple
But
of good shows. I don't know if you've anything that Danny McBride does on HBO is golden.
yeah,
I love all of his stuff. Eastbound and
um,
Down is hilarious. Season 3 of Eastbound and Down is like in my top 10 best seasons of television ever.
I'll have to check that out too.
It's not like super. It's a comedy show, obviously.
Hmm.
Yeah. He did Vice Principals too with Walton Goggins, and Walton Goggins is amazing in that show. There's the
Yeah, I
other
like.
show, The Righteous Gemstones with Danny McBride. That's another good one.
I'll have to check these out. Yeah, sounds interesting. I like Danny
Um,
McBride and some of the stuff I've seen him in.
Search Party
funny.
is also good. It was a show on TBS, but it got moved to HBO Max. And I think they have another season prepared for the show, which I'm really surprised about.
Oh,
'Cause I
show! I
thought
was
they
thinking.
ended
I
it.
was thinking of that T.J. Miller movie, Search Party. It was like really fucking dumb.
Oh no, this show is the first season of the show almost has this bit of a creepy vibe in some of the episodes of the show.
Yeah, I think I've seen that on HBO actually, just like seen it flash by.
What else am I thinking
Damn, we hitting 2 hours and 10 minutes. Spook.
of?
Gonna be a good episode. Gonna be a good full one.
Fuck, what was I going to say? There's Search Party. What else have I seen on HBO? I don't
Anyway,
remember what I was going to say.
I got some movies I watched. So I saw 29 Palms. Wait, who the fuck is the director? Yeah, I saw 29 Palms from 2003 by Bruno Dumont, I think. I've heard a lot about this one for a while, and I've been recommended it because I like New French Extremity to some point, and it's usually grouped in with that. But I didn't really know what to make of it. It's kind of long, and like nothing really happens for like maybe 2-3 quarters of the movie. Like really nothing happens until like the last like 20 minutes. But it was good. It was interesting. I definitely want to see more from this director. You heard of that one? It's like
I've heard
it's like
the
known as like
name,
a
but
shocking type movie.
29 Palms. I think I recall you talking about it in the server.
Yeah,
Isn't it
I don't
like
know.
that
It was
weird experimental kind of French movie or some shit?
yeah, kind of because like a huge part of it is just these two people like doing stuff, and like it's odd. It's a very odd movie, and I have to see more from this director. And maybe because I didn't really get what he was going for, and yeah, it's like I always see it on like New French Extremity list along with stuff with like Irreversible and like Martyrs, and those are like really like fucked up movies. And like for the most of it, it's like what this is not even close to extreme. And then like some stuff happens and it's like, oh, so that's why it's on there. But I don't really know how I feel about it. But it's interesting. Then I watched The General from 1926, directed by Buster Keaton. Starring Buster Keaton. It's my first Buster Keaton movie, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. Really, really fun. A lot of interesting like physical comedy and stunts and stuff. I haven't really seen a lot of silent films. I think this is probably my second.
Interestingly enough, I don't remember what Buster Keaton film it was, but it's one where he's doing Olympic stuff or some shit.
I
Anyway.
really don't, I'm not familiar with his.
So it was junior year of high school, and we had to do a silent film. And so we were inspired by Buster Keaton. So we did like this, it was called Silent Sports. And basically we won like a little film festival with that movie. That's my story. Very short story. I made a film inspired by Buster Keaton. Ta-da!
That's cool. Yeah, he's an inspiration.
Even though I've never seen like a full Buster Keaton film, I've haven't even seen Hitchcock. They have North by
Damn, bro.
Northwest on HBO Max, so I should
You
probably
haven't seen
watch
Psycho?
that.
You haven't seen Psycho, bro?
I haven't seen.
We should
why I
talk
haven't
about
seen
Psycho on here. But yeah, Buster Keaton. I really want to see like Sherlock Jr., the cameraman, and Steamboat Bill Jr. Those are just a few more I want to see from him because I'm not
so
familiar
much
with older
Kino
films.
out there. There's a lot of older Kino.
There
Older
is so much
Kino's
Kino
a
out there.
little difficult to get into, to be honest. But when a film hits, it hits.
There's so many movies. Like, too much Kino, not enough time.
There's
like,
an older film. I don't remember what year it was, but it's called The Bigamist, black and white film.
I think I've heard of that.
It's actually pretty good. I liked it more than I thought I would. I liked it more than Trouble in Paradise, which is a film with a much higher rating than The Bigamist. But
Yeah,
I mean, that's just me.
I'm not familiar at all with pre-1960 stuff. I mean, I'm still fairly new to like 60s and 70s stuff.
Experiment because I like burn myself into the unknown, challenging myself film-wise.
Yeah, I mean, just like, yeah, I have a lot of stuff to get into. Just like, even if it's just like, oh, I need to see more 50s films. You know, that's such a general thing. And what it's like, you know, I also want to see newer stuff. I also want to see stuff from certain directors. I also want to see like, you know, more 60s and 70s Japanese films. It's like, I just
so much.
So much. It's overwhelming sometimes. But anyway, I also saw Beau Travail from Claire Denis and Trouble Every Day.
What is that movie about? I have no idea.
Beau Travail, I'm probably saying that wrong because I don't know how the fuck to speak French, but it's about like a Foreign Legion officer who's kind of reflecting on his past as a what the fuck is he? He's like a officer in the military who's like in control of like a troop. I don't fucking know. And like it's very. There's not a lot of dialogue in it, and it's a lot of most of it's visual. It's a really good film. I wasn't into it for like the first half, and I was really thinking like, man, I guess you know Claire Denis might not be something that I'm into. And then like it just really hit, like it really clicked with me in the last half, and especially like the ending. It's like, man, and it just really stuck with me. Like I keep thinking about it, and that's kind of the same for High Life and the same for this other film, Trouble Every Day. I just noticed Claire Denis films, they really like. After I watch them, I'm still thinking about them, kind of. So I definitely want to see more from her. But yeah, it's really interesting. I'll probably get the Criterion of it because it's a kind of a Criterion fan favorite. But yeah, I also saw Trouble Every Day, which is I'm not sure if this is a spoiler, so I probably shouldn't say it. But it's unexpected the type of movie it is. I didn't expect it to go the places it did. It's very it's really unsettling, almost disturbing scenes in it, involving cannibal. I'm not sure if I should say that. That might be a spoiler. I'm not gonna say that. I'll cut that out. But yeah, it's a very very interesting. I didn't like it as much as High Life and Beau Travail, but it's interesting. It's like fucking Vincent Gallo in there. Do you know Vincent Gallo? Like
I know him, but I haven't seen anything.
Buffalo 66, Brown Bunny,
I am slacking on my. I've seen an Antonini film. I'm not
Blow Up?
slacking there. Yeah, blow up. Blow up's really good.
I want to see that. Yeah, heard it's really good. But I don't know. It's interesting seeing Vincent Gallo in there because I kind of forgot about him. He's a interesting character.
Blow up is like. I want to talk about blow up now.
Wait, let me just. Let me just finish up. I also saw Science of Interstellar, which was set short. It almost felt like a documentary about the making because it was like almost an hour long. And I watched the commentary of YMS, good old Your Movie Sucks, the YouTuber, and Dylan Burns doing a commentary on a very hateful documentary called Buck Breaking that just came out this year, which is I didn't really watch the film because I watched the commentary and they paused the film and stuff, but I basically watched it, so I rated it on Letterboxd and stuff, and it's probably one of the worst things I've seen. It's extremely hateful towards LGBT plus people, and it's basically a giant conspiracy theory saying that gay people are trying to turn or like destroy black people by turning them gay. It's
Okay.
I know it's like 2.5 hours long. It's terrible. I'm not really gonna go that much deeper into it, other than it was one of the worst things I've seen. It's disgusting and stupid and very terribly made.
What is this movie again?
It's called Buck Breaking by Tariq Nasheed. It's just came out recently. I hated it. It was pretty terrible.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was very very bad. Not good. That's for sure.
It's got a 3.10 on IMDb, but it's got
that's pretty low for IMDb, isn't it?
It's got a almost 5 stars on Amazon. I don't understand the difference.
Oh fuck Amazon! I've seen like those Amazon ratings. I don't even
feel
think
like
those are
a
legit.
lot of Amazon ratings are fucking fake.
It's got like a two. Maybe it's even in the ones. It's like it's got a 2 out of 5, I guess, on Letterboxd. So it's like lowly rated. I'd expect it to be even more lowly rated, because it's not. It's pretty disgusting. I'm not gonna go much deeper into it, other than it was pretty horrible. Yeah, that's it. I also watched, obviously, High Life. I saw that one twice, and I saw Interstellar. So, we almost at 2.5 hours. Damn.
I was gonna say would blow up. There's that era of films from like mid '60s to like mid '70s. I just like that as like aesthetic, like the feel of the movies. Because there's Blow Up and there's Robert Altman's Images, which is severely underrated in my opinion. It's one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. That's a hot take, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen either, so
I just never see Images talked about, and I don't know why.
I need to see more Robert Altman films.
Me too, but Images, it's about a schizophrenic women. Schizophrenic women's hallucinations become deadly while secluded in a lonely house trying to finish writing a book.
That sounds good. That sounds like something I'd like.
It's really like trippy at times.
Maybe that can be a recommendation at some point, because that sounds really good.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I don't know. I think I'm starting to lose it.
Beans.
Beans?
I mean, we've said what we need to say. Do we need to end this?
Yeah.
How do we end this? I forgot how to end.
So kind of
Goodbye. I'm kidding.
No, we're kind of all over the place this episode, but that's fine. Fuck it.
A lot of content.
I think we got some decent discussions here. Might not have been the smoothest thing ever, but we doing. But yeah, so for next episode, we have a couple movies we're gonna discuss. None other than the one and only Ingmar Bergman's film, The Virgin Spring, from 1960, and the Wes Craven film from 1972, The Last House on the Left. Wait, is it? 1972.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
say that one.
1973 up here. So we're getting a little depraved, if you will.
Yes.
I have some thoughts about both, and
I have never seen either one, so this will be fun.
yeah, and I'll probably watch the 2009, I think it's 2009, remake of Last House on the Left, as well. Yeah, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm gonna go ahead and rewatch it because I remember liking it, even though it's a horror remake, and I don't like horror remakes. But yeah, I'll probably rewatch that as well. But you don't have to if you don't want to. But yeah, the reason we are talking about these is because they are very similar in premise, and I know Wes Craven was very inspired by The Virgin Spring, which is actually based on a play, I think. And they're very similar in plot wise, so that's why we're choosing. Because otherwise, these two movies are, the one's like a Swedish like art film, and the other one's. Did you cut off? I don't hear you anymore.
I'm here.
Wait.
Oh, the one's like a Swedish art film, and the other one's like a gritty exploitation movie. But yeah, it should be an interesting discussion. So watch those if you haven't. If you want to listen to next week's episode, and we may have a guest on, a familiar face.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna name names just in case it falls through for some reason, but we may have a familiar face back on the podcast for this next episode. So yeah. Yeah, that's about it. See you next week. And
Adios, muchachos.
yeah. Bye. How do I end this? I should just leave it in, like it
Get the
ending with
fuck
like
out
how
of
do
here,
I?
Craig.
Wait, is it stop or save?
How do I
Stop.
turn this thing off? What the fuck is going on in Jerry Springer right now?
Bruh.
Jerry Springer always be wildin'.
I should just leave this in.
Here's your bonus content. Extreme
bruh.
sex fetishes.
What?
There's like toe licking going on. I don't know.
Wait.